Hey, 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 hey. This is so much fun, isn't it? Um, no, no, get out of the way. I want to see the fish. Okay, if you like the fish more than you like me. If you like the fish so much more, why don't you watch the fish without me? Maybe a little bit of me to make the fish better. Sounds like a plan. Okay, where were we? Oh, I always forget. Do not disturb. Bam. So now it's just you and me. Um, Focus. So today's Saturday, so it's a no coffee day. So my brain is, you know how coders are, right? Coffee in, code out, and no coffee in means more blabbering out. That's why I call this tea the blabber water. This cold tea. So let's dive into it. So yesterday I was thinking, okay, what's the next step, right? We have the background, we have the coins. We could add gameplay logic and make the coins pick upable, make the coins able to be picked up by the player. Enable the player to pick the fish to pick up the coin. And yep, that would be nice. But you know what would make this thing much better? Having obstacles, right? Having all the rocks. And so, why don't we do that? Why don't we do that? Why don't we add a rock obstacle, right? Let's do that. Let's throw some rocks into the water. Yeah, real bit pickups. Throw some rocks into the water. And then when I thought, oh man, but if you do put the rocks into the water, well, the player needs to collide with the rocks, right? Colliding with the rocks. Oh, polygon collision. And I was like, oh yeah, polygon collision. That sounds like a real cool thing. I really want to do. And I'm looking forward to that. So let's get this done. Let's get this party started. So step one, create some rocks that we can throw in the water. And you know how this goes, right? We steal the fish assets. So we have content, probably. Not sure what the obstacles. We have obstacles, and there we have rocks, right? We have obstacle rocks, and as you see, these rocks have some XML files. That's actually the collision shape, which we will not use for now. So let's put these rocks into fish content. Let's make obstacles sounds good. And then we make rocks, and then we copy over content, obstacles, rocks, and we just copy over. Actually, it's only like 5 or 6 or 7 PNGs, right? So copy that to fish, content, obstacles, rocks. And if you've been watching closely, we have this pack fish data script, right? Maybe we do it like this to get some clearer understanding. Maybe even. So this is where we add new stuff, right? So fish content, obstacles, rocks, and let's do rock dash. Let's be specific here, right? And then we run the pack fish data. And if you open the fish data game atlas PNG now, oh looky look, we have rocks in our atlas. That's step one, so we can get. So now we know the textures in the game, right? Easy peasy. So if I do a cargo run release, I mean that's why we have this whole asset flow, right? So we don't have to care too much about this thing. So is there anything? So you see, we load the right texture, and obviously everything else is still working. Maybe you need to disable the atlas rendering at some point. But for now, I kind of like to have it there for reference. And you see one other thing. This is nicely sorted, so we have maximum space for potential add-ons. So it gets a bit difficult when stuff goes into the next atlas, but I think we can get away with one for this whole game. So a rock is just an entity, right? So everything in game is just an entity. So source. Maybe entities should have a type. Maybe entities should have an entity type. Do we need that? Maybe we do, maybe we don't. Let's see. Fish entities. And let's say it's an obstacle, right? So coin, we already realized we renamed to pickup, so pickups can be picked up. Obstacles are actually in our way. And then we have a third class, probably something like decoration, that is just visually nice. Technically, all of these could just be, if they don't have their own logic, we could just have one type of thing, but we can merge that together later. Why is my screen like this? Whoa, heavily tilted. So, obstacle, wait, entities. Wait, clean stuff. Okay, that is adding the rock, and that is so this is all clean. We always should do that. And let's actually clean this up a bit. Let's clean this up a bit, and this as well. So, new entity. Coin, what did we call it? Obstacle, right? Mod obstacle. Obstacle. And this auto-completion is scary. Then we have the obstacle right, and we just look at the coin. Let's just steal the whole coin, and probably no. We have an obstacle, right? It has a name, a position, a size, an animated texture, an animation offset. So what if instead of, let's just put one type of rock for now. Right, so we take file fish content obstacles rocks rock f, which is 413 by 538, right? So let's just say rock f. Let's use that. Hardcode and already Spidey senses tingling. Hey Toggle, you're up early. Making pretty good progress on the game. I think we're getting there. I think we're getting there. How is your pixel thing going? I didn't watch the end of it. I dropped out yesterday when we fixed it via the texture coordinates, but I didn't check your VOD yet. So, hard code is numbers, spider sense is tingling, as in, what are you doing, man? Oh, so it was the texture coordinate offset by half a texel? Because I will need to do this for this as well. So, spider sense is tingling here, and then here we have basically, it is not an animated texture, but if we pretend everything is an animated texture, this is just rec f with 0 digits starting at 0 frames and just having 1 frame, right? Yes, we don't need the animation offset in this case, but maybe we want, let's remove the animation offset here, right? Let's do the minimal. Your projection matrix is broken. Did we talk about that? I watch so many streams, sometimes I forgot what we talked about on which stream. So, and this is it, right? This is it. This is a rock. I need coffee. Yep, obviously. We deleted it, but didn't delete it. But that should be fine. Having 0, 0 in the middle, I mean, I would never do that in a pixel-based tool, but that's just relative, right? Right. Oh, so you used the screen width for the height projection and then everything fell apart. Okay, gotcha. Copy and paste, we had one of them yesterday, where we used X where we should have used Y, and okay, so this builds. So how do we throw rock? How do we throw rock? I mean, that's easy too, right? We just go into the game. We have our entities, and we have our obstacle. And I mean, a rock is just like the background, right? So let's create a rock. And I'm leaning more and more towards having some kind of entity factory. Let's call this rock, right? Rock F. RF. Oh, wait, you say, the rock has, the obstacle has a position, right? The obstacle has a position. So where do we put this? Shall we put it somewhere to the right on the bottom? So it's like, I don't know, minus 400, just guessing numbers. All this will come from the level editor. Ah, okay, gotcha. And then somewhere to the right should be, say, like at 1,000. I see a big refactoring round incoming. Again, yes, but that's what you do when you develop base infrastructure, right? Uh, uh, uh. Oh, yes, we just added, I knew, we added a 0-digit texture name, so obviously an animated texture, we have this append with digits, and basically we need to say, okay, if it's 0, you better know what you're doing, cause technically we don't even need to format, we could just hand back the prefix, but I want to keep this because I still hope we can have like a templated thingy here at some point. I think a large chunk of programming is refactoring. I mean, refactoring and copying, pasting, so where's our frickin' rock? Where's our rock? This would have been too easy, right? So we add the rock, we have the rock. Maybe we just put it smack in the center of the screen, right? For now, just for now. Where's our rock? There's our rock. So we just positioned it somewhere where it wasn't. Well, let's position this to the right. Or is this to the left? Left, right, upside down. This needs to come from the level editor. So where's our rock? Oh, it doesn't move. So oh, well, it did move, right? Where's our rock? Wait. Why is our rock moving? Okay, because in the update it's moving. Oh, where's 100? Our screen should be 1,000 wide. Oh, so it was 500 off screen, right? Yeah. So let's make it that the world doesn't move when the fish doesn't move, right? So in game, basically in the update. So what if we extend the entity update context and give it a field that says world speed, right? And that is a vector 2 because we can. Obviously, we have to use create mass vector 2. And let's say the world speed is by default 0. Excuse me. World speed is 0, right? And then we have a set world speed and a get world speed. So we have a function world speed. This whole thing will be, I'm not sure yet what we will do with this. And then we have a set world speed. Right. I'm not sure if we want to use the chainable approach or the setter approach. Still up in the air. So what if we say, here we say oik.worldSpeed equals. So this is dependent on the player state, right? So if the basically it's the current fish speed, right? So the world speed, I'll use the setter, right? the world speed is a vector to new, and y is always 0, right? We don't move in this direction, but the fish might have a speed in that, so we get the, we say, we have the fish, right? We have, let's say let fish speed equal vector to 0, right? We assume the fish speed is 0, and down here we just use the fish speed. We just use fish speed dot x. We could probably enhance the vector to finally have a multiply and then just multiply by a 1, 0 vector. But that's fine. So in here, right, we iterate over the players and check if the player name is a player. Okay, something is broken here. But if we have a player, what if we say, in this case, we just say fish speed equals dref p dot speed. What if the fish told us its current speed, right? What if the fish knew its speed? Is alive, can respawn, pub function, speed. And maybe, yeah, that's not what I wanted. Maybe this is just a self that speed, right? And we handle the speed somewhere. Speed. Speed. We already have a speed, which is the speed in pixels per. It is not the move. It is not the speed, right? It's the movement. Actually, it's a movement, right? The speed is the input, and the movement is the output, right? Yeah, that will need some refactoring, renaming, I mean. So we get the fish movement. That's better. That's better. I like that better. That feels better. So this is how much the fish moved. And here we just say, okay, the world speed, and that's actually the world movement as well, right? The world fish movement, yeah. The world movement is better. I like movement better here. Is it movement, or could we just say world move? Obviously this as well. So now we transfer the actual movement from the fish to the world, right? So now the obstacle can say, instead of having this fixed position stuff, we just say self.pos.x is plus equals. I know I have so if the fish moves to the right, the world moves to the left, right? So I have to negate the movement in the game. Because basically we said we compensate that, right? Where did... Here. We say if the fish moves to the right, instead the world moves to the left, right? And I'm leaning more to making this a vector multiplication now, more than ever. So now the rocks will... It doesn't? Didn't we just add it? Oh. Oh. Okay, you are right. One more. Where did I forget it? Really? Really? Maybe I'll cheat and have some coffee. So now the rock move. Why does the rock move? Why does this move? Oh, because we do both. I mean, so now the rock should only move if the fish moves, but we don't set the... Yeah, so now the rock doesn't move. Scatterbrain today, scatterbrain. So the rock doesn't move if I'm playing, and if I'm dying, it doesn't move as well, right? So that's what we want. Now the player, and we need to rename player to fish. I'm sorry about this, but this is the fish and not the player. I'm not going to do that now. So basically what we need to do is we need to set the movement, right? And the movement is actually when we do the update swimming, and only when we're swimming, right? Where are we using the speed? Is this speed used anywhere? Nice. So I think the fish speed is actually the 240 that we had before. Only if we're swimming. If we are swimming. And let's do this at the very beginning. We say self.movement equals vector. Well, basically we set the x to self.speed times like time step, right? As f32. Basically, this is how much the fish would have moved through the world. And we never touch y. We never touch y. We never touch y. Maybe that's worth a comment. So we're not swimming, the rock is not moving. I press space and the rock starts moving because we're moving the world opposite to the fish. So everything. And maybe we fix up the coins as well while we're here, right? So basically we have this, and then we have the coins. And in the update, I mean, this is nice because we can easily add up and down movement later, right? So, theory. Now, you could argue maybe the world should keep moving while I'm dying. So, nothing's moving. I start swimming and I die and stuffs, right? Stuff stops. That's a... Do we want the world to move when we die? Do we want to like die, or do we want to die? If that made any sense. So we have the rocks and the world moving at the right rate. I'm actually leaning towards making the default window just widescreen. Shall we just do that? Yeah, let's do that. So that's 1880 by 700. People will kill me that don't have a wide screen, but you can always just do a local version, right? Let's say 1800 by... Oh, actually, let's say 1880 by 700. It will be so much easier for debugging. It will mean we see stuff plop in and out at the borders, but better. Better. And if we can swim and avoid the rock, avoid the rock, avoid the rock. Oh no, we hit the rock. So the rock is on the wrong layer. Right, so the obstacle should not be rendering on the pickup layer, it should be on the obstacles layer, right? We just got lucky that it rendered on the correct layer. No collision yet, just visuals. We just do the visual game and pretend we can play the game. Yeah, so the rock is in front of the coins, and that's what we wanted, right? You could argue that the coins should have a parallax effect and be on a different layer. I'm not sure about that. Shall we put the rock at the bottom? So it's probably, let's put the rock at the bottom. And then when we're done with manually placing rocks, what if we put that at -300? Maybe we should have rock factory. Oh, yeah, that was obviously the X, my friend. That was obviously the X, we just added it. Oh, I'm looking forward to the collision test stuff. So, now we have a nice rock at the bottom. And if we put a second one at the top, I mean, right? Just add a second one at the top. Maybe with a slight offset, and we almost have a game, right? Ah! That's not what we wanted, right? And it's gonna be super hard to... I hit the rock. I hit the frickin' rock. I hit the rock top. I should have hit the bottom rock. And obviously respawning logic and stuff is still not there, but we're getting there. So this is an upper rock, right? So what I want to do is set rotation to 180. And we decided to use degrees everywhere, so let's give the obstacle a set rotation, right? So, and that's easy. Add rotation defaults to 0. We have a, that's actually a setup thing, right? So function, oh wait, that's up here. I would prefer inheritance here. It would make our life easier. But let's see, I mean, that's why we do this, right? So we have a setter for the rotation now. And all we need to do is render textured quad with rotation and pass in the rotation. I hope. Maybe. Yeah, in the old game it slowed down moving. So we have an upside down rock. And I will definitely do that, but that's for like when all the collision and UI and everything is working, then we And now you almost have a game, right? And now I just add code to add like 5 gazillion more rocks. And then I want this coin, I want this coin, I want this coin. Oh, you hit the rock. Sorry about that, right? Yeah, I know. But right now, I'm still at this step. Implement everything on its own. And then once we have one round of implementing everything, we see what behavior we extract. And actually, so secret, don't tell anybody. But there is a reason why this is called entity, right? There is a reason why this is called entity. There will be components. I didn't say that. Shh. I said, psst, don't tell everybody. Do I have to ban you now? Oh, I'm talking to the chat, which is there, but you're there. I need the camera arm to be here. Yes, we will, but we develop from the ground up step by step and then show how certain patterns make our life easier over time. So we do the hard mode first so we can enjoy the easy mode later. So let's stay in hard mode. So all I have to do now is do this like 5 gazillion more times, right? Or maybe not. So what if we had an editor for this? So this is just tilet. I think the website is mapeditor.org, and you basically can just put stuff. Well, let's not use that. For example, I'm on the obstacle layer. I can move these rocks if I want to. I haven't used the editor for a while, or you can move the pickups where you want them up. I want to move individuals and not the whole layer. How do I do that? As I said, I haven't used the editor in a while, but basically you can just say you want you want more rocks. Wait, how do I get into? I think you get the idea, right? So you do get the idea. So we have the pickup layer, which is this layer here, or we have the debug layer, which is not used. We have some debug pickups here, which is disabled. We have obstacles, and we have a second obstacle layer. I have no idea why we have two. Maybe there was a good reason at some point. Oh, it's for depth effects. This is tilet, yes. This is Bjorn's tilet map editor. Funny story, I've been sponsoring tilet for years and years and years, and just recently found out that Torbjorn actually lives like 5 miles from my parents. And yeah, so go to mapeditor.org and have fun with this. I haven't used this, I think. The last time I edited fish levels is 5 years ago, so that was probably tile at 1.1, if it even was a 1.0, and now we're at 1.5, so how do I edit individual tile? How do I... Oh, here's our objects, right? So here I have the pickups, and now I can move the... Why can't I move individual objects? What am I doing wrong? Well, whole different story. But in the end, what tilelet does, and I'm gonna quit out before I accidentally destroy some stuff. If you look at Fiiish, there is this content, and there used to be zones, and the start zone actually looked like this. So I manually placed everything in text, and that wasn't a good idea. So after a while, we switched to tilelet, and there's this thing called new zones, and there's basically this I love Fiiish is a start zone. You always start, and that's a TMX file. And that TMX has basically everything in it so it has the tile set where the object ID is this is actually the name of the texture. The names map 1 to 1. So you have all the tiles defined. So tile 3 is rock C and O naming schemes, seaweed A, seaweed B, and so on. And then you have the object groups, which is basically the layers. So you have obstacles, and you have object ID 162 with ID 6, and that's probably one of the rocks if you looked up at this position and this height. And the width and height we currently ignore. We could convert, but we'd rather use the texture size to be defined, maybe have scaling. And then we take the position, and here we have the rotation for the rocks at the top. And then we have the second obstacles, and then we have the pickups all here, a lot, because there's a lot of coins in the start zone. And that's it. And then we have this pack zones, I believe. So this is a zone converter tool, right? So if I look at this here now, this is basically a shell script that uses a Ruby tool. And this Ruby tool, no, TMX to zone, this Ruby tool loads the zone from the TMX file, which is actually a new zone, and then writes it out to a file. And it could also write an SVG for debugging, which was super helpful. So if I look at new zone, and probably this tool we will rewrite in Rust. We will rewrite the zone converter in Rust, but what this tool does a whole lot of the tiles are in there, the tiles are in there, the layers are in there, the objects are in there, and then it has some lookup tables. And don't look at this code. This is horrible Ruby mess, and we can add layers and create objects in the layer. And then basically the from TMX loads the TMX we just looked at, and for each element in each layer gets the properties, gets the tile set, does some magic. You don't look at this code. Don't look at this code. This is. Mm, mm, mm. Let's rewrite this in Rust in some. Maybe that's for a Tuesday stream. And then basically it has everything in file in memory, and then it writes out the. And this is a pattern we used a lot. We load it into memory in the converter and then write it out. And basically, this is how it writes it out. So it creates the .n zone, and then this is always our magic header. All our files start with this, and then it is basically 4 letters for the game name, so it's for Fiiish, and then it's a new zone, 3 letters, and then compression. So if it's compressed, it's Z for zlib compressed, and E for don't compress. And this is a version number. And then all this is packed via magic. And then we add the name, which is basically 64 ASCII characters. We add the difficulty, which is, you can look up all that in the Ruby docs. Then we have the width and the height, which is 2 floats. We have the number of layers. And that's something we also use. We have the number of layers, and then we have the layers. So we have for each layer, we have the name of the layer, then we have the number of objects in that layer, then we iterate over the objects, do some weird math stuff that probably made sense at some point, and then we write out that object, and temp is our binary buffer basically. Then we deflate, maybe. If compression is on, we compress, and that actually helps a lot because there's a lot of zeros and stuff, so we save space, and that's it. So that takes one of these content new zones 00 I love fish. So that takes this file, which has like 15 kilobyte, and then it creates data 001 I love fish, this 3 kilobyte file out of it. And if I do a hex dump on that, oh, you see there's 534F. Don't ask why 534F. That is just our magic number. Oh, it's a serialized object. Okay, that's our serialized object tag. It's version 1, so it's version 0001. Then this is our fish, or if you look at the right side, this is our fish zone non-compressed. It's version 2 of the file format. Version 1 had the zone names, the layer names, something. I think the zone name was just 60 characters in version 1, and in version 2 it's 64 characters. So you see it's padded with zeros. Here's the zone name, and then you could the obstacles, and then it gets a bit diffuse, but you can see this is the resulting file, right? And that's what we're loading now. So I'm gonna cheat. Ideally, we need to have the converter, but the converter isn't written yet, so we just take the raw output of the game as it is currently shipped, right? So I copy data work fish data, and I copy all nznes, right? star.nzne into the fish data directory. And I think maybe this could be in dummy data, because technically I think I own all the copyrights to this. Maybe. But let's put them let's put them in fish data now, just to be sure, until I have checked. So we need a zone loader, right? We need something that loads a zone. And from that we get all the rock information, and then we can just spawn them, and need some cleanup and some handling when to spawn them. But basically we could do that. So up for some pain. Touch, source, fish. Do we just call it zone? Is zone just a data container? Yes, I think we do that. Let's see. Let's hook this up. This is gonna be interesting. Do we do the same as with, oh, this is mode zone. I don't know why I always write mode. Pub use zone as the zone, and then we have the zone, and let's actually implement this from scratch this time, right? We public, create public, we ignore for now, right? So this is a zone, and the zone has an implementation. and a zone. We can just create an empty zone by newing it, right? This will just create an empty zone, and then basically we have a pub function load. That will just tell us, yep, we loaded it, right? So here's a question. Does this get a file? Does this get a name? Does it get a system? And for consistency, I would say we do it as we do with the texture, right? It has a create and a load, and we pass in a system and a name. We're mixing various patterns intentionally to see which one feels right. So is a create creating the object, or do we new and load it? We can still decide. So it will need system and it will need system. All right. And I'm gonna hook this up into the game. Do we want this in the game or in the app? The zones are only used in the game, right? The app doesn't need to know about, yeah, so it's inside the game. So we have use, create, fish, zone, right? Fish zone. So let's say we have one zone, right? We just load one zone. Maybe it's the active zone, maybe it's a dummy zone. And that's the nice thing. We don't have to load this. We can actually just have it in here as a member. And you could say this is an option and then you put a none here and everywhere we handle it. Or you could just put an empty zone in and say this works. So load zones. So what if we said zone.load system? What was the name? I love fish. I love fish. And we auto append the end zone thing, right? So this will load the fish zone. And then when we're done with it, we just debug it. And then we just to do the usual, right? So if I run this, and probably I have 8 gazillions of typos because I'm running. And the first typo was in release. Is there a way to get cargo to run release by default? 4 errors. Wait. Now you're lying. Oh, well, that one's good. That's a new one. That is a new one. Two more. Yes, I did. Easy. Zone loading done with only 15 gazillion typos on the road to get there. I'm just checking the deadlines, but still seems to be all good. Oh, that would have actually been an interesting talk, but... Oh, not today. Panic, not yet implemented. So, zone is just... doesn't even have members, right? So how do we load the zone? How do we load the zone? And we could look at all this... we could look here and parse this Ruby mess. And I even have trouble to find the documentation for an array pack in Ruby, to be honest. So instead of using the converter, we use the reader, right? So we're loading this in C++, right? So there is a loader for this already. And actually there is a restart serializer. So we have this concept of a serializer, which I haven't touched on. So a serializer, every object has a serialize, and we realized reading and writing is basically the same, right? When I'm writing, I write a U8, and when I read a U8. And when I writing, I write a fixed string, and when I read a fixed string. So, but you always had to keep two code paths in sync, or they would be broken. So we had this thing called serializer, and the serializer knows if it's reading or writing, but and you can ask it if you want to, and in a zone it makes sense. But basically, you could run the same code for writing this thing, and because it's the same code, there's no risk of it being in any way broken, right? And the serializer started this whole thing of, oh, if you can't read, return junk, but inside the serializer, for example, you have this read bits, and that does actually read bits out of the stream, but that's an optimization. The serializer could remember if anything was broken, but I'm going too deep. Let's not use the serializer today. So, step one, we have a version header, right? So let's read a U32, and then we're kind of hand waving away all the endianness stuff for now. So what we need to do is let version equal. Oh wait, we obviously we need to. Where's the load? Where is the load here? We need to have the extension, so we need to have the file name true. So the file name is actually the name plus .nzne, right? Was it nzne? Was it nzne? It was nzne. So we create the file name. We ask the system, default system, to open this file name. And then we say, if not f is valid. I prefer early outs, we just return false. Some might argue, yeah, but your arms are not symmetrical and have different depths, but this is an early out, something is messed up, right? And then we just say f dot read. Do we have a read u32 on the file stream, file system stream? We have a u33, right? So what if we just debug this for now and see what we get? Hey Trollwoods, yeah, that serializer saved. I mean, imagine you have a game that has like a 5 MB save game, so it's saving 8,000 values, and somebody says, "Oh, I changed this one value in this one place somewhere." Um, Obviously this is the wrong window, and all hell broke loose because then you compare 5,000 line saving function versus a 5,000 line loading function, and you're like. So that serializer saved our behind so many times. So why? Okay, so the version is. Let's do this differently. That serializer thing is gold, and we will re-add it to this framework at some point. Right now, dancing a bit around it because I don't want to create too much infrastructure code right now. This is for, oh, cause, so here's one thing the serializer does, right? So, which I didn't tell you. So the game load zone, so the game load zone opens a serializer from a data file, and this actually eats some of the header stuff. Read is read. Where is it? So that is actually skipping. I'm a bit confused now because this serializer is not skipping, right? So we create a new serializer. Oh, it's skipping 8 bytes here. 8 bytes. So we skip the first 8 bytes. So if I do the hex dump of the correct file, so it's skipping the first 8 bytes. So it's skipping this, and that's not true. So this is a serializer thing, right? Oh, so the serializer uses these four as this is a serialized object of version 1. So this is a serializer header. That's why SO serialized object. And then this is the type, right? So in C++ we start reading here, but we will start reading here. So we will look for the SO. We will look for the SO. How do I do this? I copy this into the Rust source. Loading legacy is always a bit. And the nice thing is once we have the Rust tool that converts that, we use the same serializer for the converter that we use for the game, and then they will always be. I like that. So. Let SO magic equal f.read u16, right? And we just read that for the SO version, f.read u16, and then we say, where did we load stuff? We loaded before, right? I did this before, I'm just having a deja vu. Why did we do this? Oh, and the atlas, right? Just saying, I mean, we have to load all here. And we have to load, and basically we do all of this. So this is a 4F53, so this is a, let's do this, right? And then we say if version is not 1, and basically this is the serializer part. I've totally forgot about that. We need to clean that up at some point. Implement and use serializer, but not today. So SO version not supported. Then we have the chunk magic, and the chunk magic is wrong now because we have 46, 49, 5348 4858 4E 45, right? And then we have the then we have the E for the compression or the flex. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So this is E, compression flex not supported. And then we have the chunk version, right? And basically we can say if version not equals, and we have version 2, we don't need to load legacy, right? Not equals 2, and we say print line version not supported for zone. When loading data, I'd rather be super careful, and we could just stop this in macros so they get compiled out in release mode. I mean, worst case, we read all the zeros, which will lead to 0 layer objects and 0 layers, so should be fine. Version not supported for zone. So now we have the version, right? In theory, if I'm able to type correctly, magic, yes, because it's the SO magic, the serialized object magic. And this is technically the magic, but so a serialized object could contain multiple chunks, so it could contain 2 zones, or zone in a safe game, or broken chunk magic, expected 5A, got 4E. What? Let's move this away. Broken chunk magic expected 5A, got 4E. 4A, 8. 4A. Oh, did I miss the 4, 6, 4, 9, 5, 3, 4, 8? I missed the 4, 8 in here. 4, 8, 5A, 4E, and the 4, 5 is actually the E. Good that we have double checks in place. Good that we have double checking in place. It's quiet. I guess you're all sitting on the couch having a laugh while I work my ass off here, so expected 4, 8, got 4E. Oh, come on, now it's getting ridiculous, right? Type correctly. I need a little, like Toggle has the typing game, right? Then you would all see that I can't type. Okay, so nice thing is we get to the version 2 here. So we get all the way to the version, right? I wish I had a bigger screen. So we go back to the zone. Right, we go here. So we got the version, right? We got version 2. That's the only version we support, and that means the name has 64 characters. So that's the only difference. So we need to read a fixed size thingy, right? So if I look at file system stream, we have a read as string. Okay, we need a read fixed size string, right? Read as fixed string. That will return a string. And obviously we need the size, so we need wonder, I don't want the U size here. Maybe this is U16, just to limit it same values, right? So let mute as equals string new for n in 0 dot dot size. Let's see equals self dot read u8 as char s dot push c, right? And then obviously we return s. Shall we try this? Let name equal f dot read as fixed string with a size of 64, we just said, right? 64. And then we have difficulty, width, and height. Let's difficulty f dot read u16. It was a u16, right? Need a bigger screen. I'm going to put this on the other screen, and sorry, you won't be able to see this, but well, the thing is, I do have multiple screens here, but I can only stream one, so mm, but just trust me when I say I just read this from the other screen, right? So let width equal f dot read f32. Let height equal f dot read f32, right? And then we say actually we reading version zone, and this is the name. Difficulty width. Come on, autocomplete. Don't let me down now. Zone difficulty is this. Size is this times this. Shall we? Shall we give this a shot? Yep. I could use a smaller font. I mean, I can still read like 15 font sizes smaller, but then I can just do this alone. Or maybe I should make this a podcast. So, reading version 2 zone, I love fish with difficulty 1, size 3072 and 1024. And since everything is 1024, I have the feeling that sounds right to me. So, next thing we have here is the layer count. Let layer count. And usually I would print out the data format and just tick off the boxes as I go. Oh, the other screen is so small, so layer is interesting. So right, layers is interesting because what we actually do is for L in 0 to layer count, we have a new substruct, right? So we have a, let's create something called layer. Do we just call it layer? Yes, we just call it layer. And then we have an implementation for layer, and I'm not a fan of putting this in the same file, but... And here we have the same pattern, right? We have the new, and we have the pop function load mute self. And here's the difference, it gets a file, right? So it gets a reference of a mutable implementation of file system stream and just returns a bool, right? Is this right? So in here in the loop we just say let layer equal layer new layer.load f, well, mutable reference of f, and then we say self dot layers dot push layer, right? And that probably we don't have layers, so let's layers, it's just a vec of layer, and I really hope this abstractions are zero cost, so layers is vec new. And that should work, right? So each object loads itself, and I'm probably file system stream not found in this scope, which is right. I'm just stealing the... I want some auto use plugin for Sublime. What did I do now? I was too stupid to type file system. 1 hour to go. Can we load? Hey, Toggle. 1 hour to go. Can we? Why do I always do this? Why do I always do this? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Hey, it's getting crowded here. It's getting crowded here while I do boring stuff. Sorry, folks. File loading is boring, but once the files are loaded... Oh, can we do it in 59 minutes? So, oh, we loaded 5 layers, which sounds about right. Well, we loaded 5 layers and that layer loading did nothing, so... for the ones who joined or came back, I'm cheating and have the C++ version here for the format. So basically, we're at this point, we're in the layer serializer. And I'm gonna do this differently. I'm just gonna copy this over so you can see what we get ourselves into, right? Maybe it helps me as well. Well, okay, let's remove all the asserts here for noise level to do cleanup. Yeah. We don't need the initialization, so basically that is what we do, right? So we need the layer name, right? So name equals f dot read as fixed string. Let object count equal f read u16. And then we do the same for O in 0 dot dot object count. Let object equal object, and object is a bad name. And this needs to be mutable, and then we just say object dot load f. Then we say self dot object dot push the newly created object, right? And we obviously don't have an object, so let's create. I probably will copy all the. I will resort this thing. I want everything that would be in the header file at the top. And then basically let's do the object, right? Let's do the object. And we have the same pattern here, so let's assume this can be gone. I will know fast enough if all of them return true. For now, there is no loading failures. Where did I put my Xcode? So I'm just going to, again, same as we did last time, we have the object serializer here. And that's pretty straightforward, right? So let's copy this for reference. Okay, an object has an ID, right? So an object has an ID, which is a user. And this time we serialize directly. Oh, this is a layer. My bad. We serialize directly into. This has an ID, which is a U16. It has a CRC, which is a U32. It has a X. Maybe we just use a position and use a vector2 here. Use create mass vector2, nice. And then we have a rotation, which is an F32, right? And then obviously this needs to be ID is 0. Oh, I need a break soon. I cannot type anymore. The CRC is, actually I want this for the CRC and not 0. Position is just a vector to 0. And rotation defaults to 0 as well. I have to check something real quick. I have the feeling I'm missing some important stuff. Nope, we're still good. Yeah, it's revision party this weekend, and I want to watch the shader showdowns and make food before that. So basically, I am working to, what's the URL? I am working towards this timeline. I could have just copied that. So basically, I want to see the shader showdowns at 2:30, and I want to have a little bit of time to have food. So I will go at 2, grab some food, then sit down, watch the shader showdowns, and then probably do a bit of coding in between here there, watch the shader showdown finals definitely, and then probably it's competitions for the rest of the day. So we have 1 hour now, and then probably 1 hour somewhere here-ish. If you don't know about revision, you probably should check that out. I'll be hosting in between anyway, but that is what this timer is for. It's basically have enough time to grab some food in between. And that doesn't sound right, but that, well, 52 minutes. Let's do this. Let's do this. So self.id equals f.read u16, and thank God we created all those loaders. And technically this is a read crc, but self.pos.ag equals f.read f32. 32, and then we have self.rotation equals f.read. Yeah, f32. I hope that rotation is in decrease. So technically, if we did load the name in here. We don't need the object count, but we need the name here, right? So a layer should have a name, and it needs objects, and then it's a vec of, yeah, a layer has a vec of layers. Self name as string new, and objects is vec new, and that probably is self dot. I mean, the loaders have become pretty straightforward, so I think we can also just read these into self dot, right? Patch up these here. And then the loader is done. I mean, it doesn't do anything sensible yet. Obviously, we need the members in the zone. So we have a name. We have a difficulty. What was the difficulty? U32? Do you remember? U16, and then width and height, which will be size, right? So, and then size is a vector 2. And obviously the initializer layer difficulty is 0, and the size is vector 2, 0, right? And obviously this will be self dot size dot x, and this will be self dot size dot y, and then we fix this again. Talking to myself a lot today, don't I? Speed mode enabled. Speed mode enabled. Shall we just... What could go wrong? Layer does not have this field. I put it in the wrong spot, did I? I put the difficulty and the size in the wrong. And the zone needs the name as well. Let's try this again. Yeah, it is. But sometimes... So my brain is sometimes it's very focused on you and explaining to you, and I feel that I'm talking to you, and some days I'm just in the zone and my brain goes like whoosh, and I'm talking out loud just because I have this camera in front of me, but I'm not really talking to you, and that makes me a bit sad because I'm glad that you're here. Unknown field. did I put? Wait, that's a semicolon. So you totally want to confuse the Rust compiler. Put a semicolon in a random place. It will just throw errors that make no sense whatsoever. Oh, loading. So yes, we did hit the die, but we wanted to do that. So this is maybe this was not the best zone to load. I mean, this zone has a ton of stuff in it, right? So okay, we need to truncate that string for the name. That's easy, right? So difficulty 1, size, we have obstacle layer where we have to truncate the name as well at the first 0, which was for free in C++ because the first 0, you know that. We have the objects with IDs, CRCs, positions. Oh, so the CRC is basically the object type. So we do have an obstacles layer. We do have an obstacles 1 layer, which is nice. We do have a pickup layer. I mean, all of this seems to be low, and the positions seem to be kind of reasonable. I'm not sure about the formatting here, but lots of pickups, lots of pickups. This does look good. Lots of pickups. Lots of pickup. And then we have the debug layer, which is empty, and the pickups debug layer, which was for fixed position stuff to check the exact corners. Yeah, but I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. So, let's not die anymore. Oh, let's die real quick because I want to fix the. And we did that before, right? We did the name truncation, and maybe we need. So basically, we can say maybe this is worth a helper by now. Maybe this is worth a helper by now. No, not the file name, but this one here. We just find the first 0 and truncate, right? Oh, I'm getting hungry, but 44 minutes. So if the names are correct now, what do we do with this new information? I want to have some fun with this. So the names are now correct. So can we do this? So what if, and now is the time to call me crazy, but what if we could just do this, right? And yes, you know that I don't know the signature, right? So this is self layers. Actually, I'm going to put the zone to the right here and the game to the left. What if? Just for fun. So we remove this, and say after we loaded the zone, we say for L in zone dot layer iter, right? So what if we just went through all the layers and say for O in L dot object iterator. So this should hit every object, right? Once we fix the object iterator and the layer iterator. So this basically should give me all objects, right? Once I fix the signature. Did I do the... Yeah, I want the iter here. I'm not sure. I stumbled over this. Just hand out the iterator instead of implementing an iterator, and I'm pretty sure that's not a smart idea, but it works. Layers iter. So this is this, right? And then we have the same for the object here, with the differences being an object. So we, just for fun, we iterate over all the almost. Yes, I meant self. Ah! I'll look into that. Thanks, Trollwood. I'll look into that. I didn't know about that. Impl iterator item T. So, oh come on, can I please copy this? So basically, you're saying I could do something like this. I'll look into this. Considering time today, I'll probably not at that complexity. And actually, the game started on the wrong screen, and on the wrong screen means wrong scaling. But so we iterate over all the objects, right? So if I did a debug here on all the objects, we only want certain objects, right? We want to say if object dot, and here's the thing, I think I make all of them public and don't write accesses. It's just maybe I fixed. So if object crc equals, and I'm gonna steal them from the C++ because this crc here, right? This crc here. This crc in the object layer. That's probably not a good idea. I just want a pickup coin CRC, right? So this is our CRCs. And I believe that's what actually in the file, right? Let's just check. Let's just check. So if the CRC is this coin, oh, let's debug and not display. I just want all the coins right now, right? Okay, I'll look into that iterator stuff. Oh, it's not object, it's O. Oh, it's O. And it's O here as well. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, so we should we have too much too much debug output. But oh look, we have tons of coin objects, so that worked. So at this point we have a coin object. And what do we do with a coin object? I mean, we know what we do with a coin object, right? We know what we do with a coin. Oh, sorry. This sounds. I am sorry, but this is exciting. So, and the position is o dot pos dot x, and it's well. This is basically o pos, right? O dot pos. Yes. 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 Oh, no, no, no. How anticlimactic. Um, yeah, just use 0. I don't care. That was the animation offset. Oh, do you see what I see? Shall we swim there? Shall we go there? There, do you see it? Oh my goodness. We have coins loaded from a level file. Oh my god. I like it. I do like this. So okay, we remove the texture atlas overlay thingy, right? So that's in the Fiiish app. It's just annoying right now. So we don't render the game atlas anymore. Too much noise on this screen, right? Yes! No, what it needs is the ability to collect the freaking coins, right? Oh my god. I thought I need all day to get to this point, to be honest. And obviously it's using the debug layers right now, so it should be selective on the layers, but... OMG. Oh, let's turn on the background. You know what? You know what we're doing now? Yes, we're doing... This is a hack, right? So this needs some logic around it. This needs some serious logic around it. But what if we say match o.crc. Thank you for being helpful in the formatting, but and this should come from a configuration lookup thing. So this is a coin, right? What else do we got? What else do we got? We have these pickups, and we have these rocks, and we have the sea. Let's just do the coins first, right? Let's do... So what if the pickup... Okay, so here's the thing. All of these are coins, right? The only difference is the texture, right? What if the coin setup got the CRC? What if the coin setup actually knew what it was? And then we say that this is the type, and this is the coin type. So I kind of want to... have this as an enum. But let's flow with, let's go with this right now, right? So no, actually we put it in here. Do we? Where do we use, no, we do it in the setup, right? And here we just say, now I'm wildly hacking away. But now, so the coin setup gets the CRC, right? So this setup actually gets o.crc. And here we basically say, can I format this in a slightly more readable way? Here we just say, okay, this is also a coin, because now we have classes of, this is also a coin, and technically the magnet is also a coin, right? Oh, come on, don't kill my formatting. Yes, this needs a lookup table or something. Well, to be honest about these hacks, we put them in games, and then you don't want to know when we ship a console game how many hack and to do and fix me's are left over in the code. It's it's like sometimes a comment says, I just put this in as a hack, please remove by January 15th, 1998, and it's still in the game. So don't worry at all. Don't worry. But for me, it's like this is open source, and people might use this to copy for their games, and at least I want them to know, hey, think about this. So and here's there's a difference between a to-do and a hack. A hack is something I put in temporarily to check stuff like spawn thousands of coins, and a to-do is there's still functionality missing here. So at least there's, and sometimes I put a plan, and plan could be like use pattern X to make this better, or use quicksort instead of bubble sort here, or something like that. So this is also for the open source community to realize. Take extra care when reading this. So now we spawn all the different types, right? You saw that there were some holes in the fish. Expected 2 parameters, found 3. Wait, what? Oh, it's in the entity. Okay. Okay, unfortunately, we have to do this here then, which is not too bad. I mean, well, actually, we did it right here, right? $30. Really? Really? Just go away. We just skip everything that's not a coin. Who wants rocks? Who wants stupid rocks anyway, right? We want coins. We want Bitcoin. So now all of them are spawned. They used to be holes, but they're the wrong coin type, right? So what is the only difference? The only difference is this, right? So what if we do a match here? And these are the different types. So these are the ones we explicitly want to match, right? And the only difference for now is the texture. So the first one is the actual coin, right? This is the coin. Actually, so you say, but that doesn't change anything, right? And you are absolutely right. Well, almost. Oh, the tracker combos go? Yeah. Unreachable statement. Wait, what? Oh. Nice try, my friend. Rocks rock. We will make a rocking rock game when we're done with this. Well, or with the one after, or the one after that. So, well, still the same, but we have this magnet thingy, right? So if I look at this, content, pickups, we have the coin green, coin blue, and magnet. So what I'm gonna do is copy dash r data fish data work fish content pickups, and we just copy that to fish content pickups. Am I doing this right? I never get this right. Probably just messed it up. Pickups. Okay, now we have so if I do a x dash l dash tree on fish content pickups. So we have the magnet and we have the coin blue and coin green. I mean, step A, let's pack the fish data. And basically we have coin green, blue, and magnet. So we have coin green, green, blue, blue, and I believe it's magnet and magnet. And if I had set up the asset bundler correctly, all of this would have been picked up by magic. So, and you're saying text yeah, I have exactly the same problem in Fish. The space used to be an empty box, but now it isn't, so a space doesn't invert the cursor. So if we open the game atlas now, we have all the extra coins in here, which will mean they're loaded, which will mean we can use them. And I just want to see, so rain is blue, right? So this is rain is blue, and this is green, and this is a magnet, right? And this should really come from a configuration file, and this hard-coded magic numbers in the middle of the code is... I just want to see the different coin types. Look, my friends. We have magnets, and we have a green coin. Oh, we don't have a blue coin in this level, but that's fine. Maybe the background should obey the movement of the fish as well. Oh, now we're just fixing strange stuff, right? But oh man, I'm so glad about that zone loader. I'm still not sure about the zone spawning handling. Let's fix the background real quick, because it's annoying me. No, we're not fixing the background in this commit. We could do the same for the rocks, right? So we could just say... we could just say we do the same for the rock. rocks. Because rocks rock. Somebody said rocks rock, right? So let's do the same for the rocks, and seaweed we currently don't support. So and you'll see that this pattern here is not nice. We'll need something cleaner, and I have an idea, but that might need a converter, and I don't want to write that now. So let's put all the rocks here, and the way I'm copying this is not the smartest way to do this. So, but you say no. This is not a coin, right? This is a rock. Okay, so this is an obstacle. And the obstacle mu doesn't know about its CRC, right? And the CRC is a hack. This is... Probably we have an obstacle config thingamabooey, maybe? Let's say this is a rock. And obviously it will be the wrong rock now for everything. Almost got this. Obstacle expected 2 arguments, supplied 3. Oh, because we don't have an animation offset for obstacles. Fair enough. You know, I'm just buying time for the next 20 minutes so the timer runs out and I don't have to rewrite the expected 2 arguments for obstacle new in line. Actually, these 2 rocks here, I don't care about them anymore because... Oh, maybe it's not a good idea to add stuff to the entity manager before setting it up, right? So let's do this. Missing size, obstacle. Wait, what? Missing size? Because put strange punctuation anywhere in Rust and the parser will totally blow up. So now we have rock F everywhere where we have a rock. Yes, and rock F is obviously the wrong rock. Oh, and it needs to be rotated, you say. Well, why didn't you tell me? R dot set rotation O dot rotation. Maybe. Who's trying hard to recover the rocks? Okay, so now we have top rocks and bottom rocks, and it's the wrong rocks, but I mean, you know the drill, right? We did it for the coin, and basically we can do it for the obstacle, and it becomes clearer and clearer to me that we probably kind of... Maybe I should have just copied this here instead. Might have been smarter, but I'm not always smart. So, and then we need 2, 6 of these. We have 4, so let's copy 2. And then we copy this one, and then we say copy this block over this block. And then I have no idea. Okay, it's ABC, so It's A, B, C, D, E. Yeah, the REST compiler is trying too hard to recover in some cases, and that leads to sometimes error messages are like, I forgot a semicolon in that file, don't tell me I forgot the mutable in the other one. Okay, so this is using the correct rocks now, but the sizes are wrong, right? And that's basically what I wanted to. We need some kind of configuration. We don't want to hardcode. I mean, I could just, so this size here, I could just say, okay, and the size is, actually, I'm gonna match this twice. Please don't kill me. And I'm gonna say self.size equals vector to new, and this is, I don't know, 100 by 100, right? And I'm actually gonna use the rock size from the assets. Fish, content, obstacles, rocks, rock.png. So rock A is 150 by 89. 150.0 by, and I so wish I could just overload here, and rock B is 24 by 220. 204 by 220. Rock C is 166 by 373. 166 by 373, right? Then we have 197436. Well, 197436. And my OCD clicking in. Then for 175, 556, 175, 175, 556, right? And then we have 413538, which is basically this here. So now the rocks should have the correct sizes, right? I'm getting hungry. Look, we have the right rocks in the right places with the right sizes. Oh, but what you say, the seagrass is missing? Really, the seagrass is missing? Really? Really? You want seagrass? Now you're killing me, right? Now you're just killing me. Okay, you want seaweed. You want seaweed, you get seaweed. So, seaweed for me is just a rock, right? Seaweed is just a rock. I'm just gonna, and I do this to make a point here. If you still didn't get the point, then you can add the next 15 asset types, right? So, I'm gonna steal, it's this here, right? Maybe we use a dummy texture. So in Fiiish, we have this content obstacles. We have the blocks, right? Oh, if I could type, we have the blocks. So let's make the Fiiish content obstacles blocks. and then copy data work om fish content block obstacles blocks block png into fish content obstacles blocks, and we actually add the block to the pack file. So just to have it in the thing, and we say, okay, if for whatever reason we can't find, we at least show the one by one block here, right? So we show the block one here, which has no animation, which is fine, and that block has a fish content obstacles blocks block. It's 128 by 128, so we do the same here. This should come from some form of configuration file, right? This should not be in the middle of this. This should come from, I don't know where. So in case of seaweed, we should have the blocks. And then that's a good marker, right? So it's always good to have a fallback asset that sticks out. And this block sticks out as, what the hell have you been doing? Well, then I look at the level file and say, uh-oh, seaweed, seaweed, seaweed. And then I could just say, okay, manually, I add a single seaweed, right? And this is seaweed A. So what is a seaweed actually named? Oh, we don't have seaweed. Okay, so we have seaweed. I could just say make the fish content obstacle seaweed. Let me just copy data work fish content obstacles seaweed star.p. We don't care about shape files for the moment. Right, and you know the drill. So this is packfish data. Just lazy, not lazy enough. Seaweed, and this is seaweed star, right? And the seaweed has an animation, so I could just use seaweed A, and I do a file fish content obstacles talking to myself seaweed A, and seaweed A starts at 1 and has 48 animation frames. So thank you for starting at 1. So it has 2 digits. It starts at 1 and has 47, 48. Is it last frame or number of frames? I don't know. Probably 47, we will see. And all of them have the same size, right? So it's 63 by 14. And 63 by 14? By 114. That sounds more reasonable. And now if this shows animated seaweed, can I eat something, please? Almost. Because there's a dash missing after the A, and that's why it's so important that comes from a automated config file. Almost. Texture not found. Seaweed A. Seaweed A dash. Really? There's no leading zero in the name. Oh, what do we do now? I know what we do now. We allow this to be negative. We fix the animated texture and say number of digits is an I8. Right. Number of digits is an I8. And we say, oh, hackety hack. So we say if the number of digits is -2, then we don't have leading zeros. Right? Ugly but true. That's when artists give you broken. Oh. Expected I8 found U8. Self number of digits in animated texture line 77. Because number of digits is an I8. And then all of this should be okay. Why is this a unary? Oh, we mixed first frame and number of. No. Maybe change this in all the places when we hack it in. 5-minute warning. Almost. Okay. So, but basically that means, it means don't pad, right? If it's negative, n if n smaller than 0, then just don't pad, right? Just print the number unformatted. Can this work? Naming inconsistencies. Come on. Texture not found. Seaweed A5. Because fish data game atlas PNG. There is no seaweed, right? Because we didn't run the pack fish data thingy. And interesting side effect, we have more than one texture atlas now. So we have game atlas 0, 1 and 2 now. Right, this is 1 and this is 2, and let's hope all of this is handled correctly. Maybe we should have a seaweed atlas, but I want to see for performance optimization, because similar objects should be in similar textures because they potentially get rendered together. So it's loading all the atlas files. Oh, look. We have coins, we have magnets, we have special coins, we have rocks, and we have seaweed that's moving. With that, there's 2 minutes left. I could hack in all the seaweed into this. This here will be cleaned up, right? So I'm not gonna invest any more time into this right now. I'm gonna do throw some rocks into the water. I think we ticked that, right? We ticked that. We definitely have some rocks into the water and add some coins and seaweed to the mix. Mm, Next on the list, improve entity configuration, because no, right? Just no. So the usual, and this will be interesting. So the Atlas 0 changed, right? The map changed. All the atlases changed, and I'm not sure I want them in this way. There's space. So to do pack data, add rocks, seaweed, and coin pickups. Pick up textures. That's this. Add the zone loader. Use world movement from Fiish. So that's if we move, we move. If we don't, we don't. That's this. We removed the game atlas. We added the so spawn entities from zone. That's this hacky thing here. Animated texture, some minor fixes. Yes. Change the window size. Added all these textures. This would have been faster on the command line. Come on. Now I will be beaten by... Shut up. Usually I do big ads like this on the command line, but now I started here, so I'm gonna finish it here. Pride and stuff. And we always overrun on our timers anyway, right? G. Are we even using G anywhere? I thought we oh no, it's rocks that go to F. So this is the coin animation. This is nice. The coin, the green coin. The magnet. The zones. Add zones from original game. Good that we didn't do a add star here. This is the Atlas stuff. We added the obstacle, add zone with loading. Add generic obstacle entity. And it's not fully generic yet, right? So let's commit this, rebase, push. Yeah, one more tracker tune playing, but I still need to get my lunch. I have to walk out, grab lunch, walk back before the combo starts, so... Okay, one more test, and we'll always do that, and it's always off screen. I'm gonna fetch on Windows. And this one's a big one, because it's the gazillion of image files. I'm gonna rebase on Windows. Doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. And the game atlas loading, I have no idea why this is so slow. I probably will re-implement PNG loading. So let's run a release on Windows just to see if it's still working. Wow. Why is PNG loading in Rust so slow? I mean, it's insanely slow. Um, why is the world moving? If fish is dead, nothing should be moving, right? But it's looking even better on my 4K screen over here. PNG loading with the image crate. It's just, I mean, that image crate in debug, it just is insanely slow, and then even in release, it's slow. So I'll have to look into that. But having said that, and being just slightly over time here, it's been a pleasure as always. I probably do an hour of cleanup sometime later. Yeah, I'll try. I'll try I just went for the image crate, and I think under the covers it's using the PNG crate. I mean, writing a PNG loader is something you do over lunch break, right? So maybe that's worth doing at some point. For now, I don't care. It loads everything I toss at it. So I'm gonna host the revision party channel now, and I'll be back for probably an hour later. Until then, thanks for being here, and see you.